Talking about GDPR and CCPA, primarily the GDPR is the General Data Protection Act, which is the European Union's. CCPA is specifically around the California Privacy Act. Keep in mind, other states are coming forward with legislation that will introduce similar things that the California Act is introducing. My name is Dan Woodbeck. I'm a solution architect here at 3D Marketing. My main focus is developing solutions for our clients in CRM and marketing automation platforms. It's really around allowing consumers to take control of their data, giving consumers rights to understand how their data is being collected by companies, and making sure companies have policies and procedures in place to protect that data for the consumer and follow procedures to, or regulations if you will, to handle that data and allow consumers to protect their data by requesting that that data is deleted, or how they're using the data, or to stop selling that data to third parties. Well, they matter for many reasons. One, we're talking about consumer data that has now become protected. Consumer rights are going to drive a lot of policies and procedures that are going to have to be put in place for a business to be compliant. Always recommend that you consult with your legal team first to understand, not with just the California law, but with all the laws that are in legislation right now. 13 states are about to pass regulation, if you will, but how the variations of the Consumer Act is going to impact each state where you particularly do your business and whatnot. So always consult your legal team, but you're going to have to understand as a business, you're going to have to start to be transparent with your data. Meaning, when I collect data from a consumer, I need to tell them how I'm collecting their data, why I'm collecting their data, how I'm going to use that data. You're also going to need to provide them the ability to opt out of that collection. So you're going to start to need to put procedures in place to, or on your properties that are out there, whether it be your website or forms and so forth, to make sure your consumers are aware of that, so they can opt out or be transparent with that. As a business, you're also going to have to be aware that as a consumer, I have the right to ask you, how are you using my data? And in doing so, you have to show me within 45 days how you're using that data. If I ask you to delete that data, you have to comply within 45 days. You also have to let me know if you're selling my data, and I tell you to stop, you have 45 days to complete that as well. That's why it matters to you as a business. So if you're a business that just found out about this, or you're just starting to pay attention to it, knowing that it may seem overwhelming when you look at all the regulation, and you know you generally have to put a plan in place, there are some quick hits that you can do that start to show that you're starting to become compliant on the front end, for lack of a better term. So making sure your cookies are being collected and collected correctly. So that's one thing you do on your website that you can implement with software solutions that are out there. It can be quick and easy. A little bit more challenging, but still in theory should be quick, is updating your forms to get explicit consent around how to use the consumer's data. Can I use it in emails? Can I use it in newsletters? Can I use it in promotions? Those are three explicit things that you can call out. Informing the consumer how you're handling their data and giving them an option to opt out. Another quick example would be, okay, I've done that in my email, or on my forms I should say, but what happens when a consumer is looking to look at their data or ask you to stop selling their data, things of that nature? We recommend a preference page where you can point that consumer through other channels, so it allows them to ask for that information, or to see what your policies are and ask to stop doing that kind of collecting of your data or selling of your data, or actually how are you managing my data. So those are quick hits that you can do to get yourself going and not feel like you haven't done anything yet, if that makes any sense. So from a big picture standpoint, you really want to focus on probably assigning this to one team to solve this, or to manage this problem going forward, or this challenge going forward. You'll want to build a strategy around it and think about it as things are changing all the time. But if you look at it in a milestone way, you have to assess where you're at today. You have to build those policies and put a strategy around it. And then as you implement this, something that doesn't go away. You're going to have to monitor it for changes as regulations change, and quite frankly, as you start to get your first iterations of actually processing data from consumers, that will change things, so you're going to always have to keep on top of it.